Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, we're back, and I'm joined by the one and only Laura Fluke. Laura, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Kind of excited about this being November, and it's my birthday month. My birthday is the end of this week, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Are you going to go to that Apple place over there with the great apple donuts?
No, I think if we're actually going to have some girls come over, I'm going to make some apple strudel. So our tummies will be full, our spirits
Okay.
will be full. So it's going
All
to be
right.
a nice weekend.
That sounds good. Now, everybody should know for 15 years, Laura has been guiding and educating people to become more aware of their body, mind, and soul, and not, not like anything other. You're expanding and you're doing some more work.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have the dual, what do you call them?
Licensure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got to this place where you're at, and then you got kind of a little, it's not little, but it's a kind of an announcement about something else that
I
is going to be really
do.
cool. So let us in your world.
Yeah, so kind of excited about, I started my career just very briefly as a physical therapist assistant. So, I have all that knowledge in my hands and in my head. Then, along the way, I learned craniosacral therapy, which has been a beautiful adjunct. And actually it's the modality that I've kind of, moved my career toward now. And I do that. I practice craniosacral therapy under my massage therapy license. So, I do an eclectic blend of body work and helping to people to find relief from pain, stress, anxiety. And, we've talked about before how something can be held in our tissues.
Yeah,
Somebody may come in and say, I have pain in my neck or pain in my shoulders or something. And then as we speak and we, kind of go, well, where is life at for you now? What's going on? What's
right.
going on? And I can I can remember, it's so funny when these little stories pop into my head because they're always intriguing to me.
Yeah, they're
Why?
interesting. Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine tell me that she was experiencing some foot pain, couldn't get this thing cleared, was having a hard time with this, and was even inhibiting her walking a little bit.
What, from
I'm
like
like,
an
okay.
injury? Did she stub a toe or something? Or
Yeah, well, I think this is where the wild part is. She couldn't
okay,
identify why her foot was hurting her.
okay,
So we come in and I start speaking with her and, I asked her, I say, well, did you do anything? No, not really. But, maybe she was wearing different shoes or something like this. Well, what else is going on in life? And she said, well, a couple months ago, my twin sister and I got into an argument and we've been just kind of just separated. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, who wants to be in dissension with a family member? Anybody for that matter, right?
right.
He's okay. And I said, well, how long has your foot problem been going on? She said, oh my God, ever since I've had this dissension between my sibling and I. I'm like, you're kidding me. So sure enough, we went to the room. And the more that we spoke about it, I took her through a guided meditation, got her relaxed, kind of, held space for her. And as we talked about it, we just dialogued with the situation, saying, foot, are you ready to take the next step with either, her life in that moment or, the next step into, how do you create balance and reconciliation within that relationship? And by the time she left, there was no foot pain, and she had a little bit more of a clear idea how she could approach her sibling and try to reconcile that relationship. And this has been probably actually a good couple years ago with this specific person, but I have not heard from her in terms of I've got foot pain still. My relationship with my sibling is she had stated that it had improved, that they were able to go and reconcile to whatever
Nice.
degree at that time. So,
Laura, what's the significance of the foot?
well, I asked, I kind of checked in with that with the body as well, and she was hesitating on inside of her mind, inside of, our own human minds. We don't know, well, I've got this situation, what can I do to change it? And so it sounded as though she had kind of exhausted, what else do I do?
Right.
So as we spoke, excuse me, it became apparent that she didn't know what her next step was with her.
So it's like almost like running away, or something to be to go forward, or to be stagnant, but it had to do with movement.
Right. What was my next step? How should I move forward with my siblings so that this can be a healthier relationship?
So
So
interesting how it happens
this,
like that.
right. And I think a lot of it is that when we start listening to our words and this, not the stories, I mean, we can have, any one of us at any moment can have an energetic or an emotionally charged scenario. Absolutely. But if we're getting stuck in that and we're not taking the time, making the time to try to get out of the story, to try and uh mm, balance out the emotional charge or the energetic charge about a scenario in our life. Sometimes we're speaking the same words, and we're repeating them. And so we start, our cells kind of go, well, I guess that's the scenario, that's the way it's going to be. When we have that opportunity to kind of quiet a person down just in that safe, nurturing space, through meditation, through connected touch, or, even energetic connection, the body feels supported and kind of going, okay, now, what was I saying? Okay, when I said this, oh, well, how does that hit my system? Huh, where do you notice that? Well, when I say that, I notice this tension in my heart. Oh, okay. What does your heart need in order to feel safe and supported? So for some, some people may, I may say, would you like for me to put energetic hands to your heart to kind of support you as we process this subject, whatever it is?
Mhm.
Yes, please. So, and conversations past, I was even able to go and connect with your body by, and so we reach in and say, okay, heart, do you feel, or mind, body, spirit, wherever, belly, gut, whatever, the connection is needing. What do you need for support? Does this feel appropriate? Does this feel comfortable to you, or comforting, nourishing? And, we move from there. So now, as the heart or that body part or that place is supported, the body and the mind and the spirit then becomes more willing, I suppose, knowing that they have that support to go and process through something.
So they're on the same team and in
Exactly.
alignment.
Exactly. And a lot of times, how many times have you said, I got the shoulder pain, man, I just wish my body would work with me. And what happens if your shoulder is kind of, you know, sore because you're carrying too much? You feel overburdened, you're
Mm.
stressed, you're in pain, you feel anxious. And you can see how my body starts curling in when I feel heavy. Now, if we start speaking about this, well, I have this going on, I have this going on, I feel lost, or I feel stuck or tied. Okay, well, let's see what that really looks like. If, not, I don't want to say if, but what can we do to go and reframe that so that maybe you're not feeling that heaviness anymore? And we may not change the scenario or the situation, surely, but can we have an opportunity and make those opportunities to see what we can do to influence the way the body is responding and the way the mind is responding? So if we can get everybody on board, the mind, what are you thinking about it? The body, how are you feeling about it? Are you feeling supported? Are you feeling tense or what have you? Then we can kind of use the body and the mind and go, okay, spirit or soul. For me, I kind of define soul as our human experiences. Our human experiences, like, and our spirit is what activates it. So I don't want to get too far into, in the clouds, but when we start thinking about our life experiences, how we've, received them within our body, and then how we work with that within our mind, now we have that opportunity to go, okay, well, what do I really feel about this? And
Mhm.
is my belief outdated? Is it limiting? Can I look at this in a different way? Can I look at my body pain? Can I look at my emotional pain, or just mental pain in a different way? And can I do that with support? So the answer is yes. Yes. when we settle in, then we can connect to the body and kind of, dialogue and go, what is really going on for you here? And, like I said, with the person with her foot, she thought she was having physical pain. And the reality is that her spirit, her soul, her heart was disquieted because of this wonkiness between her and a sibling.
Wow. It just blows my mind how, something outside our body can affect, and I guess the pain is trying to tell you something, I guess, right?
Exactly. And that, that's the thing is if we are in a space now where we are able to learn that if we listen to our body a little bit more clearly or closely and say, yes, okay, wait a minute, you're clearly trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
Clearly my neck hurts. Clearly I have it. I hate, my back hurts. And there's all these little, in the background, there's all these little symbolic things that are important because these are signals to us. And the more you start learning about your body, you're going to go, you know what? My low back's kind of hurting. I wonder why. Well, I'm kind of feeling a little frustrated, not supported. Maybe I've got concerns about money. Like these are where the body takes those things on and just that's where it hovers is,
Wow.
so there's known places where we take on certain emotions. And so when somebody says I have pain in my ribs or pain in my chest, I have to kind of sit here going, well, what have you been discussing? What are you sharing with me? Maybe the heart and the lungs, they deal with love, grief, sadness. So, did you lose a job? Did you lose a something? Are you feeling sad because this life circumstance is changing? So we look into that kind of going, okay, now can you breathe differently? Can you feel differently? However, whatever is appropriate in those moments. So
Hmm. I see. And one thing that we should mention is that uh, you you have something going on with some kind of mentoring group.
yeah, yeah. My last name's Fluke. And
Huh?
the meaning of the word fluke is an unexpected, like a mistake that has a positive end, a positive outcome. So I was sitting here just plinking away on the computer and came across an advertisement for how to rock your massage practice. And I'm thinking, well, I want to do that. I
Hmm.
want to be doing my thing, and doing it well and broadly. And so sure enough, I signed on with this business mentoring group. And as a result, I mean, there's some excitement going on. I'm rebranding. I've got a new name change. There'll be a new website,
Wow.
a new logo, and it's all very exciting. I mean, right now our connection, in terms of the quietroom808.com, that's all still very valid and it will shift over eventually. But yeah, maybe it's worth sharing the name. So the name is going to be Stony Creek Healing Arts. And the tagline is providing support for pain, for the symptoms of pain, anxiety, and stress.
Nice.
So
Sounds good.
yeah, so just trying to, get the word out. It feels like, I've learned that people are not necessarily having a hard time understanding, about craniosacral therapy, but that's the tools I use. That's one of
Yeah.
the many tools I use. But, I wanted to speak to those people who have something going on. I mean, there isn't too many people I would come across in my life that I'm not, that I couldn't say to you, well, you would benefit from being on the table. But what does that mean, right?
Right.
So, we all have some sort of pain at some point or
Oh
another,
yeah.
whether it's emotional, mental, or physical. And, stress, who isn't stressed these days? And just sometimes it's so helpful to just have that moment where we say, you know what, I'm going to go and commit this, hour and a half worth of time to go and support myself, find support, find what I need to reframe what I'm seeing, have a different mindset about what I'm experiencing so that, like I said, even though my scenario may not change, I can change me.
Yeah.
So that's where, being in a more supported, nourishing, nurturing type uh atmosphere and scenario is it just helps us to stop and think, right?
Right.
So
Did
yeah.
you have someone that mentored you that really kind of took you under their wing and
I think that's a fabulous question, to be honest with you. And I would tell you no. No, everything that I learned in terms of how I've gotten from my physical therapy career through craniosacral. But then, the biggest change was, when I lost my husband, and life demanded that I needed to do something different. I couldn't just curl up and die, along with him, and I needed to make a change. And I know I have, the training and the intellect and all of that stuff, but I had to wander around and unlearn a lot of things that I knew, coming from the church. What does the church say about energy medicine? And, having to relearn that and going, oh, no, no. It is definitely that. I needed to learn how to dialogue. I was in a place where I was receiving care, not only from my own paid sessions with my colleagues or, other, maybe the upper level of me, you know. So I would say that it's been more, my own mentoring has kind of come from my own healing.
Oh,
So I think that I'm in a space now where I feel like, we could all use just a life mentor in general, a mental health coach, if you will.
yeah.
And I think that this is where, we maybe some of us don't necessarily connect with formal behavioral health because maybe we don't feel like we're wonky enough to go and engage in that, right? And maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But oftentimes it's something that we're just trying to move through and we don't have the necessary stillness within to go and find it out for ourselves. That's where this work really kind of comes in because we really do focus on what's going on for you. What do you need? What do you think about this scenario? What can we do to create support to make it feel a little bit easier? If nothing else, we change the energetic charge, the emotional charge about that. Wow, I didn't see it that way. This feels lighter. It feels brighter. I feel less heavy. I think I can, my head's a little clearer. I think now that I've taken a minute to just stop and look at the scenario. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even,
I
you
didn't
know,
see it that way. All right.
mm. So it's, I mean, I facilitate absolutely. And I might go, hey, what did you see there? Yes, and that takes some expertise, absolutely. And I'm grateful that I've mastered that art and that craft of being able to kind of go, hey, just look over here. What did you see there? Oh my God. Ta-da. And the person walks out feeling empowered because they saw it. They came to that aha moment for them. It could be something really small today, but or it could be a big profound moment for them. It just depends. Where are you at? What's your scenario? And I think we just all need some help every once in a while. And there's nothing wrong whatsoever from needing some help. I call up my friends often. Hey, I need a second brain with this thing.
Yeah.
Am I thinking, like the like other healthy people also? But okay, based on the scenario, what's my next step? I'm doing this, and this. What do you think? Yes, excellent. Go ahead, move forward. And that's what we're trying to implement within oneself or having that confidence going. I think I have a better clue of how to move forward here.
Yeah, it seems like you're kind of just leading the people to a place where they have the tools and the
Mhm.
help to find something out for
Absolutely.
themselves, but it seems like you're not dragging them, but you're walking with them.
Exactly. I mean, that is so true. They say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
So when somebody signs on with me to have a session, well, you're saying, okay, lead me to the water. And I'll probably drink, but I have to show you how to get to the water that you need, right?
Right.
And that's how we do this. And when the person walks away from that going, that was a good drink of water. That's beautiful because you thought of this. How many times have you said to somebody's asked you for advice or something like that, and you're kind of going, I wonder when it's going to be, I bet you any money when it becomes their idea,
Hmm.
it'll stick. And I started wondering, way longer ago in my career, my coaching career, I'm like, well, you asked me for a suggestion. I offered a suggestion and you're not taking it. So I'm thinking, okay, then, maybe X amount of time frame later, somebody says, hey, I decided to do this thing. And I'm like, I mentioned that or something like that. Did it sound better coming out of your mouth now? Right. But the reality is that yes, because now they can own what that idea was. All I did was get to plant a seed. All of a sudden, life came around and something else. They're in the shower washing their hair and I'm going, I should go do this thing. And
Yeah,
then ta-da. And they walk forward, they do their something or other. Maybe they talk to their sibling, maybe they, find a different way to do something, whatever it is. But it really is 100% about empowering the person to see their scenario, their, painful or stressful or anxiety producing scenario in a different way with less energetic, charge. They're not, peed off, they're not upset, they're not sad. It's decreased enough for them to kind of stop and go, okay, how do I move through this scenario? Now
gotcha.
that I can think straight a little more clearly, how can I move forward effectively?
I got
So,
you.
yeah.
And Laura, we're almost out of time here, but I do want to ask you about your YouTube channel. Now, you got a bunch of old shows, some shows up there. What are
Yeah.
we going to see when we go on the YouTube channel? And what is it? Is it the
So the
new
YouTube,
branding?
yeah, so it'll all be connected. We've got to still figure out those mechanics. I'm not really sure how to do that yet. That's why I'm speaking with a mentor.
Yeah, of course, right?
But
Yeah.
but yes, right now all of the sessions are under, my website at thequietroom808.com. There's a media tab, so you can access them through there. The YouTube channel is called The Quiet Room. And I will say that, without realizing it, there's been times where I have even gone into YouTube. I've typed in The Quiet Room, and boy, there's some crazy movies that are associated with that name. So,
Oh, wow.
so yeah, so I have to be really careful about, we will make sure that all of that stuff gets transitioned properly and that everything is still accessible and all of that. But for right now, it's thequietroom808.com. And that may be the cleanest way to get to the former, the previous videos. So yeah, it's been really exciting. And I kind of like to keep to that, the quiet room, because that's really where we've been sharing these stories about what occurs in treatment,
Yeah.
and in a session. And the room itself is affectionately called the quiet room. People will say, hey, I need some room in the quiet, or some table time or something like that. So
Mhm.
we'll see. But as that all progresses, I will certainly be updating you and where we go with that. So
Okay.
very
And
excited.
and in the last 2 minutes here, what are your plans? You said you have a birthday coming up. What you going to get together with some friends? What do you got going on? I was expecting you to go down to that. You were telling me about the place that makes these apple donuts or something like that.
Oh, yeah, no, I've got actually a bunch of friends that, we just are, we all kind of speak the same language. We're, ladies about the same age and, kind of similar life stages. And there's some of us that are a little older. There's some of us that are a little younger. Some don't, some have teenagers. So it's been kind of fun to, be the oldest one in the room, sort of. And, at some points, maybe there's that support and, how to dispense, yeah, I would do that with my kid too. But, but no, I'm excited to get to make my apple strudel again and share with friends and just have a nice special quiet day here at the house
Nice.
and just chill out.
No Croatian dancing.
Oh, you're putting
Is that where you got that on
yeah.
a
Yeah, so excitingly, it's exciting to me, but Sunday was the first official practice,
nice?
for me to return to. So sure enough, I got in there and this group happens to be performing in Las Vegas this coming weekend, the same weekend of my birthday, and it was too soon for me to fly out there with them. But
Mhm.
the director, he says, so, I need a body. I need a partner for the dance. Are you willing, to walk through?
Wow.
I can kind of pull you through this. I'm like, yeah, sure. So he goes and he runs through, he shows all the dance, he shows the dance steps and everything like that. Sure enough, we run through it twice and I looked as on target as everybody else did in that room, and I'm thinking, yes.
Nice.
So cool to see that body memory really does exist.
Yeah, Laura, that's
So
so cool.
that was very fun,
Well,
very exciting.
I wish you a great, happy birthday, a
You.
great day, and it's always a pleasure talking to you. Anything you want to leave the audience with, and then, it's thequietroom808.com, right?
Yep, thequietroom808.com. And really just, be gentle with yourself today. I think, maybe today, it's a big day in the United States. It's all that election stuff and right. So just be kind to people as you move through life today and
Yeah.
that good stuff. So, but I would love to talk to people and hear more about what you're wondering about all of this yummy stuff too eventually. So yeah, I'd love to meet you all.
All right. Awesome. Guys, that's Laura Fluke. Laura, thank you so much. And I will speak to you soon, and have a great birthday.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Take care.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.